My name's Louisa Alexander. I'm with City Kitties Rescue, which is based here in West Philadelphia, and we're a volunteer-run nonprofit organization. Our main mission is just to try and reduce the stray and feral population in this neighborhood, and to basically provide quality vet care to strays that we find and find them loving forever homes. We got involved with the Windermete partially because I live one block from here. When the fire broke out on January 10th, I actually thought I was going to have to evacuate my own home. And so it really hit close to home for everyone in our organization. My involvement started the day after the fire, January 11th. I was walking home from work from the L, and I happened to encounter Scott Williams, one of the tenants from, I believe, the third floor. And he was carrying his cat, Arky, in a broken Tupperware container, a big Rubbermaid bin. The firefighters had rescued her. She was sopping wet, smelled very strongly of smoke, and she was terrified trying to jump out of this Rubbermaid bin. And so I asked him if he needed a pet carrier, if no one had provided him with one, and he said yes, that would be great. So we walked back to my house, get a carrier. I asked him, well, do they have any carriers on the scene of the fire so that for these animals that are being rescued, they can safely be taken to the vet? And he said, no, I haven't seen anything. So I went back over to the scene of the fire with a humane trap in one hand and a carrier in the other. I spoke to an Office of Emergency Management, OEM, worker. I spoke to firefighters on the scene, the fire captain who was there with the white helmet. And they were all concerned about the pets, but no one really knew what was going on with the pet rescue situation. They reported to me that Animal Care and Control Act had come and picked up some cats from the scene that had survived, that they didn't know who their owners were, but that they weren't currently on the scene at that moment, and that cats had been restrained in blankets inside of the fire trucks until they arrived. So it seemed pretty disorganized to me, which was concerning. Things got much worse in the week following the fire. I noticed that there was no one around with humane traps or carriers. And I mean, as you can see looking at this building, the first, second, and third floors, I mean, people's plants were still in the windows alive. People's curtains were still fully intact in the windows. You could see people's belongings through the windows. So, and yet I had firefighters telling me there was no way possible that these animals could have survived, even 3 days after the fire. The basement had filled with 15 feet of water. The place was an ice palace inside, so I was told. And there's just no way that a cat could survive those conditions. Speaking from experience, we've rescued cats from just crazy conditions. Cats that have been hit by cars and left for dead on the road for days and survive and live happy, lives once they get proper vet care. So we knew that there was a really good chance there were cats still inside. I and another volunteer, Eli Green, were on the scene pretty much daily for the next couple of weeks, trying to find someone with official access to the building who would take humane traps inside. A firefighter, a fire marshal, L&I inspector, anyone who might be going in and out of the building. Insurance people were going in and out of the building. And despite these dozens of people on the scene, no one would set a humane trap for us. We were told there were no signs of life inside. Finally, on January 30th, my birthday, I got a humane trap into the building. We actually got 3 into the building. A friendly person who will go unnamed had seen paw prints all over the building and piles of feces and other signs of life, and had actually seen a live cat in the building. So he agreed to set 3 traps. We set them on the 2nd and 3rd floors, and within 48 hours we had M2. She was captured on February 1st. On February 4th, we got Cinder, who is a stray, who I think made her way into the building, as well as Missy, who was from the 3rd floor. We got, about a week later, I believe, we got, who was next? I'm sorry? We got Annie next. She actually showed up. She's a little tortoiseshell without a tail, so pretty easy to identify. And she actually showed up on my neighbor's porch one morning. I was leaving for work, and there she was, howling to be let inside somebody's home. So that was really just a stroke of luck that I just happened to come across her that day. After that, unfortunately, the person who was helping us with the trap said he couldn't do it any longer. So we were stuck again, knowing now that there were definitely pets alive in the building. We had gotten several of them out, and some of them had found their own way out. And so we didn't really know who to go to at this point. City communication was awful. It really, we just had no idea who was even in control of the building anymore. So we contacted George Bengal, the Director of Humane Law Enforcement at the PSPCA, and based on information from someone who had seen two cats in a window matching the description of the two other missing cats, he was able to get a warrant to go into the building. That was Saturday, February 12th, that he got that warrant. And he and his humane officers were amazing. They were incredibly dedicated. They stayed here overnight to protect the warrant. And the next morning, out of 12 traps that were set throughout the entire building, we got one cat, Sadie, who was from apartment 203. So now we had two cats from apartment 203, but one's still missing. So again, we still just felt that we couldn't leave. We couldn't let this thing go, knowing that there could still be cats in there. So again, we found a friendly person who would set traps inside for us, and we've been trapping in the building for about the last week, 5 days, and we've gotten 3 more cats out. One unidentified stray, who again I think found his way into the building. We got Humbert, who was the last cat from apartment 203, and we also got Rocco, who survived that 15 feet of water in the basement. So the last cat was actually pulled out 39 days after the fire. He was thin, he wasn't in very good shape, but all the other cats have been in excellent health, even still chubby. So the fact that people, that we were told 3 days after the fire that nothing was alive, and then 39 days after the fire, we've gotten 6 owned pets from the building. I think that just speaks to the fact that cats are survivors, and we really just can't underestimate what they're capable of.